boils and ghouls. You are now tuned in to PVD Horror Podcast. Pleasant screams.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the PVD Horror Podcast. My name is Dave, and I'm joined here, as always, with my co-host, Brandon. And today I have two special guests joining us to talk about a film that they worked on that is hitting the festival circuits right now. We have Jason Lake and Julia Tutko-Balena, and they worked on a film called Mother Grimm. And what also makes this very special is Jason is a budding filmmaker from our area. So we're very much talking about local filmmaking and the local filmmaking community, I guess it would be a good way to put it. So Thank you guys both for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
No problem. I just want to say congratulations on receiving not one, but 3 awards at the Amazing Fantasy Fest Film Festival. How has your experience been so far on the festival circuit?
It has been thrilling. First of all, thank you. And it was it's quite unexpected. But honestly, it has been a joy to have the film be received as well as it has so far. And each stop has been nothing but a blast.
It's been so fun. I mean, I'm glad that we went all the way out to Buffalo because amazing. The Buffalo community is amazing. No pun intended. It is really wonderful, full of wonderful, creative people. And much like the Providence area and much like the New England area in general and out there, same vibe, same passion for the film. And to share in a festival that's been running for quite a while, spearheaded by people who know what they're doing and welcome and celebrate filmmaking, and then to win awards there too. That was just the cherry on top of the entire experience. It was like, mwah, chef's kiss, cherry on the sundae. And then the trip there and back, we were goofing off on the car ride there, and then we were on the car ride home.
That's special because, we have, like Dave said, with a lot of local filmmakers, we've been able to collaborate with a lot of people, having them on our podcast. And so it's an honor to have you guys on. And Jason, also, thank you so much for being a fan of us for, all these years and listening to us. So we appreciate the support, and we love, showcasing and highlighting film. And I just want to say thank you so much for sending this project out because it was just so cool to watch. And I'm really impressed by, local filmmakers and especially this project. So,
well, thank you. That means a lot. And, again, thank you for having us in the first place. So,
and and then the poster itself, it just stood out to me. It was just it was so cool. Me and Dave are so big on taglines. So when I had seen "She Will Cook," I need to know what's the story behind that phrase and what made it stand out from other options that you guys had on the table.
So, first of all, shout out to my buddy James Kinder. He designed the poster and was my assistant editor on the film. He's also a local filmmaker. Shout out to James.
Hi, James.
I had pitched the tagline "She Will Cook" based off of the meme from a year ago, "Let Her Cook" or something like that. He did not get it at all, which I thought was hilarious. But I thought it would be fun, and henceforth it became.
It just fit.
Yeah.
One of those was one of those things because I remember the turnaround on the poster was so quick. You took a frame from literally just a frame of what we were working on, and you zoomed in on it. I thought that was a brilliant move. James did a great job, and I know that you guys collaborated on that so I don't know who made that call, but great choice in the visual. But then the tagline, you guys didn't spend a lot of time deliberating on it. Were there any other contenders, or did you just did it just fit? And you're
I just said "Let her cook," and he went, "Really? I don't get
it." I think that the young audience would definitely love that. It's definitely fitting for the time. So I know that even if people don't know what the film's about, they're gonna see it, and they're gonna catch on quick. So
yeah.
I think that's the thing that we love about taglines is you kind of start to formulate what the movie is going to be in your mind before you even see it. So even if you're totally off base, it's fun to try to guess what is this? And then I mean sometimes the taglines are so literal that it's like, oh, all right, and that almost makes it funny too. But yeah, no, taglines are great. So that's an amazing one. But before we get too far into this, I guess, Jason, could you tell our viewers what Mother Grimm is all about?
So Mother Grimm is a story about a young woman named Persephone living on the outskirts of Rhode Island, sort of countryside. And she is held captive in her own home. And in order to discover the means to her escape, she must go through a sort of surrealist nightmare in discovering her own inner power. And I will leave it at that.
Okay.
How did he do, Julia? Does that
nailed it?
That meet the cut?
I need to let him take lead on that because I don't know how much he wants to give away.
Sure.
And there
Log
are
lines
so many.
is something I've had to really hone my skill for during this whole press junket, honestly.
Yeah.
It's a whole set of different skills, right?
Yeah,
you want to share a lot with the audience to like get them excited and get them intrigued and get them like connected to the story, but at the same time you don't want to give everything away.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And there are so many wonderful tricks and story beats and effects and wonderful little things in this film that are very exciting, and we don't want to get ahead of ourselves and spoil them, but we want people to like experience them with us. So
Also, because the film deals with a level of surrealism that it's also not quite, A leads to B leads to C type of, plot summarization.
Sure.
Yep.
That's not to say that it's really inaccessible either. I don't mean to,
No, I think that makes it really challenging though to describe a film that doesn't have like that direct narrative at times. It doesn't take away from the film itself, but like trying to describe it sometimes can be a challenge. So that and the whole idea though is just to give people a hint. So hopefully they'll be curious enough to want to see it more. It's like the issue with trailers that me and Brandon always talk about today is like they show way too much of the film in the trailer, and then by the end of the trailer we're like, I don't even need to go see it right now. So you just want to give people a little hint.
The Usual Suspects had a trailer that literally gave away the ending.
Is it really?
It literally did. The whole feet turning straight and Kaiser Söze with his hand turning into the cigarette. They put that in the trailer.
That's crazy.
I've never seen the trailer for Usual Suspects. Is it like a blink and you'll miss it kind of clip, or is it?
I mean, it's just in there. So you know how trailers kind of have this like ebb and flow of like, this is the story beat, this is another story beat, then you see the credits, and then you see another story beat, and then you go boom, 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 clip, clip to get you excited. Well, in that clip lineup, when everybody's riveted, paying attention, they literally spoil it with
it's just like a flash.
Ending.
Yeah. It's so crazy because, we do movie nights every month at Buttonwoods Brewery. So when I'm putting together promos for it, like we complain because me and Dave, we do the trailer reviews and everything. And they're like, they gave too much away the same way. But then going back to the 80s, it was the same thing. I just did something for Blood Rage, and it's showing all the kills and it's showing all the main taglines. And I'm just like, should I post this? But I think at points like I have to, because it's like we have to sit there and promote it. So I don't know.
Yep. All right. So the next thing I want to ask you guys, and maybe you guys can both give a little background to this. So, what is your background with film and kind of like inspired you to get involved in this project, or, to develop this project in the first place?
So, my background in film, I guess, started as a lifelong cinephile. I was an avid storyteller from young age. Grew up in a house where movies, books, and music of three generations were always present. I'm Gen Z. My older brother's classic millennial, and my parents are both boomers. So I always had three generations of media at my fingertips, something I took for granted growing up, but I've come to understand lately, speaking with a lot of my peers, that, I'll be talking to somebody my age, and I was talking to somebody my age the other day. This kid didn't even know who David Letterman was.
Jeez. Actually, it doesn't really shock me, though. I mean, I feel
I know, but I don't think your age should. No, unknowing that a world existed before you shouldn't really be that hard of a concept to grasp. It kind of annoys me. But yeah, from there, I studied film and graphic design at Rhode Island College.
Okay.
And graduated in 21. And since then, I've been working in the independent scene of the New England film industry. And that is where, let's say about 2 years ago, Julia, we met.
Probably 3 now.
Yeah, 3 now. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
She has a much longer story than me, so I'll let her take it from here.
But I can fly through it quickly. No, I started storytelling since, I don't know, infancy, childhood.
Yeah.
I was a ham. You could ask my parents about me being 9 years old in front of Saturday Night Live doing Linda Richman impressions. How's that for a reference? Coffee talk.
Coffee talk.
Don't get me started. I would absolutely just dominate this with quotes. But anyway, okay. So moving on from that, like that's when I discovered, when I was around that same age, I discovered that like you could play pretend for a living and people could pay you. And so that was my realization that that's what I wanted to do when I was a big old grown up. I was like, I want to be an actor when I'm a big old grown up. And my parents were like, no, you're going to eat for a living. We're gonna send you to school, but you're gonna study the maths and the computers and stuff. So I was like, okay, fine, side gig. So we reached a compromise where I would get the degrees that would make them happy, but I would also, do side gigs that would make me happy. And so I started walking on film sets, like within the college, right around age 18 or so. And I've just been doing films ever since. Like I remember that even before that, I was doing backyard films, the whole classic, like story of like grabbing my mom's video camera and making films in the backyard and that whole fun storytelling technique. But I was writing them and like making them, and I figured out how to edit when Windows 95 was a thing. Like, and ever since then, like I just started going on other people's sets and learning. And then the year that my son was born, I decided that that's what I want to do with my life, like properly and professionally. And so I started my own company that same year. So I've been doing that like on my own, and we met on a friend's set. We met on a random 48-hour film project. Actually, I'm a huge fan of those. I tell people to do them all the time. It's a great way to make new friends and have films under your belt and get good experience in a quick amount of time.
Network.
Yeah, for real. And I know Rainsberger is her, Melanie Rainsberger down in the Providence community. You might know the name.
Mel.
Yeah, Mel, she's awesome. She does the Providence 48 every year, and she actually just did the Providence Horror 48. So, like, I'm a big fan.
Vortex?
Sorry?
No, that's right. That's the flickers. Never mind.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Long story shorter. Long story long. I've been doing this for like 25 years in various capacities, and I really love it. I've made a few of my own films. I've helped out on a bunch of people's friends' projects. I run a YouTube channel now to try to get more people engaged in and make it more accessible for people that want to get started. I'm self-taught, so I try to tell people that you don't need film school, but this is how it can help you, but this is not necessary because this is also what you can learn online and things like that. Like the landscape is changing, people are connecting, and I love putting all that together. So I have a newsletter and all this stuff, and I'm so passionate about it that I'm so happy here.
That's awesome. I just have to like commend you. So it sounds like you had like a very pivotal moment in your life when you had your child, and so many people would probably like turn and go the opposite direction and say like, oh, maybe now's the time where I need to kind of settle down. But you're like, no, I'm going to do this dream that I've had, and I'm going to keep going forward because this is what I want to do with my life. And I love that you didn't just give up on it, and you kind of push forward. And like, even with the messages that your parents sent you when you were younger of like, no, you're going to pay the bills and you're going to eat food. Like, no, I want to do this. And I just think that's so inspiring. And that's truly what it like, that shows passion for the, the field and everything. I just think that's so cool.
Thank you. That's very sweet. I mean, I just had this kind of conversation in my own head. I'm like, you're about to raise another human, make them a priority, but also teach them things and show by example, like the filmmaking experience, right? Show, don't tell, right? So how could I tell him to live his dreams if I'm not living mine?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And so I just had to pony up and walk the walk. And not only that, but there's this amazing magical thing that happens sometimes when you're looking at a little baby and you're like, wow, life is short.
Yeah.
Life is so fast. Like, when did I become a parent? Who let that happen?
Just
10
wait.
years ago.
Just wait. My son just turned 18 the other day. then you see it goes by really fast.
Instantly turn to dust.
Goes
Yeah,
by.
I have friends of mine in the same thing because I actually had kids a little later.
Yeah.
I'm a late bloomer, as it were. So I had kids in my 30s and my daughter at age 40. And so, I'm looking forward to that. And like all my peers, similar boat. It's like, yeah, they're like, oh yeah, we're signing up for colleges next year. And I'm like, what? Instant crumble to dust.
Yeah.
The vampire effect right here, right now.
Now, with you guys both being local filmmakers, in what ways did the Rhode Island community impact your approach on creating this project?
Knowing a guy for everything.
So true.
Yeah, that's actually great.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know a guy.
I know. And if not, I know a guy who might know a guy.
We all wear
Or gal.
various hats.
Yeah.
Yeah. Multi-talented. That's so true. Like, especially when you're on set with a couple people or you hear names on set for people you haven't met yet and you're excited to meet them because they know XYZ. I've never had an experience, except maybe, no, really, never had an experience where I hear a name and it's only attached to one thing. Not in this community.
No,
it's like, no, this guy lights, this guy does DP, this person does like, this girl does sound, but she also really loves editing. Like, you get the multi-talented, multi-passionate, super interested. You get those conversations of like, well, what do you do? Can you tell me what you want? So sometimes as a director, I'm like, okay, but what do you want to do? Because it's no longer about what you can do. It's more about like, what do you want to do? Like, what's your next goal? Because we know it's like an understood thing that people in this community, like, they know many more things than just one,
Yeah.
The indie scene, everybody knows everyone, or at least is familiar with everyone. So I think that's really a big help.
Yeah.
Sorry,
the little collaboration that you guys had. I had noticed that Connor was in this film as well.
Yeah.
So I think that was cool. He's also a filmmaker for everybody listening out there. So
Connor Morley.
Yep. Connor Morley. And another tie is that we met Sissy through Connor.
That's right.
And we were on Connor's 48-hour project. That's how Jason and I met.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And the other thing I think, I assume it would be different here than other states is like, just finding like the beginning steps, like how do I get involved in something? I think it's easier to find it here because like it's so small and everything's kind of condensed versus if we were in this like large state and everything's so spread out, I wouldn't even know where to begin, I think. So I think that's kind of a benefit that a lot of filmmakers have here.
That's actually a really great perspective to have. I've often, coming from Little Rhodey, in your tell people you want to get into entertainment for a living, it's often, the reaction is usually, well, that's, for magical people who live in places like LA and New York, but not for us hill folk, But no, I really like that perspective. Thank you.
Yeah. And I think the thing that gets in our way is that thing that you said, though, because I think sometimes we we might not move forward because we feel like, oh, well, we're not in like a big city, but we have access to so much. So it doesn't make sense not to move forward, I think. So, I think it's a little bit of both of those perspectives for people. And also, I just wanted to ask you guys, so like, obviously we know the filmmaking community is pretty accessible and there's a lot of people that you can, get involved with. What about like the LGBTQ community? And as far as, especially within filmmaking, because I know there's a large community for that here, which, Brandon and I have been able to like encounter over the years, and they've been super supportive even of us as well. So I just wanted to.
People love horror.
Yeah, they do.
I mean, I know as a gay man, I know more people who love horror than I do musical theater. I mean, that's just a given. I would say to any young filmmakers or just aspiring filmmakers in general, listen, befriend out of work drag queens because they are looking to make costumes and wigs for cheap.
Mm.
Yeah, I work in the clubs downtown as one of my side hustles, and that's also a great place to network. Lo and behold.
That's actually a really interesting tip for people, because I wouldn't even have thought of that, but it kind of makes sense. You know,
That's
people want
a
to
really good tip.
people want to keep doing what they like doing. So
I met a kid who, you guys familiar with the Boulet brothers?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I met a kid who builds the props for that show. I guess one season the trophy was like a scythe, but that was like bedazzled or something.
Okay.
And he was telling me it came down to figuring out, all right, now I have this constructed. You can't just mail a weapon like that across the country.
That probably doesn't fly.
Yeah.
That might get flagged.
So, you have to, ultimately it came down to him having to get like a written statement from the Providence Police Department and attach that to ship it across. And long story short, it's, Providence has a great tolerance for, but also community for eccentrics. And I think we use that to our advantage.
So many other cities like Austin, Texas, Portland, Oregon, they all, they have that tagline, like, just about being weird and stuff like that. And like, they embrace it. I mean, we're the same here. Like Providence, we're weird and we love it. And we're super eccentric and all over the place. But like for people who don't live here that are watching or listening, like this is why we're always talking about our areas. We love it. It's just so out there, and everything feels just like so involved and artsy, but smart, but fun. And just like, there's so much out there. So we encourage anyone who hasn't been here definitely to make sure you don't overlook Rhode Island, even though it's small in stature. It makes up for it with its eccentricness.
That's where Peter Griffin's from.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I agree. I think what was it, like 1/3 of our cast and crew was from Providence.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
I hired local. I'm smart.
Yeah, and our location was in Rhode Island. So
yeah, Lincoln. That house.
Okay.
Oh my God, that house. Shout out to Dave, owner of the house.
Dave, he says hi, by the way.
Oh, really?
Should we talk about the house? That's what one of the things everybody wants to ask.
Yeah, you can talk about the house.
So once every other month, myself and my photographer friend, the wonderful photographer Michael Marassi, get together and do like a movie night. Shout out to Michael. And we discuss, upcoming projects, things we want to work on. And I was giving him this pitch for this project that I wanted to shoot. And, I told him, it was my dream to shoot it, on a grand Victorian estate that was also secluded in the middle of nowhere. So, you wouldn't see neighbors next door because, that's relevant to the plot. It needed to not have, outdoor noise and traffic passing by, not just for filming reasons, but also for narrative purposes. And, I was telling him how I was in the process of, contacting local realtors who were selling Victorians, perhaps in the Newport area, or East Greenwich even, and seeing if there were any homeowners in the area who perhaps would be willing to allow a small film crew shooting there for a week. And he said, well, I'll do you one better. My buddy Dave owns a house just like that. It's right down the road. So he brought me there that night. And, it was exactly as I had written it in the script without ever having seen it. It was just a gift from the universe, truly.
Is the house on the market? Is that why it was accessible?
Nope. Nope.
No.
He just keeps it and takes it. It's a family estate. It's his family home, and he takes care of it.
Yeah, he inherited it from his uncle. It was his uncle's dying wish that it would be used by other artists
Wow.
So he lets Michael do a lot of photography sessions there as well. And, he's looking to establish it as a shooting location for bigger productions as well.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I did a video. It's not up yet, but I did a video for my YouTube channel about like the how to list yourself in as a filming location and publish yourself like as available to be rented out by big and small productions in this registry that most states do have. Vermont, oddly enough, does not. Get on that, Vermont. But I mean, and I sent Jason links so that he can send them to Dave. And
I did send them, and he thanks you profusely.
Oh, good. I hope he
cool. After watching the film and then hearing that story of how that all came together, it just changes the way you look at it even more, because it's like I was just watching the film and was like, wow, the shots and just like the steps and then like the table was set and just the rooms, everything just like stood out and it was so perfect. So like you said, when you were writing it, like that house wasn't even in mind, but it all fell together. It was, I was just perfect. So like, congratulations on that happening.
Thank you. Thank you. The most expensive thing in that house, which I can't get tired of telling people. He said the only thing in that house that he was worried about being damaged, and we all signed waivers, were the light fixtures and chandeliers. The light fixtures are so old in that house. They were all handcrafted by Thomas Edison himself.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
He literally said there are probably Thomas Edison's fingerprints on some of these bulbs.
That's crazy. Wow.
That's cool.
Like
moving ladders. And,
I was like, can I dust? Can I make sure?
Can I dust?
Yeah, moving ladders and C stands around that house was a bit nerve-wracking.
It was like a sacred mission to make sure everything was safe. Whew.
Now that we talked about all the positive things and how everything kind of fell together, I just need to know, what were some of the biggest challenges that you guys faced during this production?
I mean, all the fighting we had.
Oh,
right?
yeah, definitely.
So many fights. It was just nonstop. God, it was terrible. And everybody wanted to eat, like at least twice, sometimes 3 times a day. God.
The nerve.
How dare you?
How dare you? Ooh, diva. Ooh, I need to eat before I faint. Whoa, look at you.
I have low blood sugar. Ooh.
My God. Oh God, there's several.
That's my sarcastic way of saying like we got lucky. Like Jason put together such a beautiful array of people who literally are as passionate as we are here, as passionate as the film community is in Providence, in Boston, and in Buffalo, like I was saying. Like really, to a man, to a woman, to us, everybody, to an NB, like everybody was just a perfect human being. Like kind, showed up to work, was dependable, reliable, interested, capable, curious, and like helpful and excited about what we were making together. And that hodgepodge of people really made this such a great experience. Like I want to work with people again. I'm like, I don't care what we do next. We'll shoot somebody's ants on the ground. Like, let's go to a yard and just shoot things. Like the spider that we shot in the yard. We were literally shooting before shooting.
Yeah, I forgot about the spider.
Yeah, and made it into the film.
We later found out that was an actual... Jules, was it you who sent me the article?
I don't think that was me. In fact, I was surprised because I thought that I found that it was an innocuous spider. And it was like, oh, super deadly. Good to know.
Super deadly.
It actually was a deadly spider that had been reported.
We were all up in that spider's face.
Yeah, southern Massachusetts, northern Rhode Island.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I am glad I did not know ahead of time. I was like, is it a jumper? Is it going to be on my lens and then subsequently on my face? Like, I don't want that. It's good to know after the fact. Let's put it that way.
So let me ask about the film itself and, as far as Mother Grimm goes and some of the inspiration for that, using the title Mother Grimm and even thinking about the history of Mother Grimm. So like people, I don't know if everybody knows, like the Grimm fairy tales, the history of them, there's like they're way darker than people, I think, even acknowledge today. Like, and, kind of like to your point with like the David Letterman, someone not knowing him, a lot of people don't even probably know, like younger people might not even know about Grimm fairy tales today. Who knows? I don't even know. But
I was such a normal child. I was reading that shit like it was,
so you have like a background with Grimm fairy tales.
Oh yeah,
like,
sure.
All right, so what to you, like what do they mean to you? Kind of what's your take on like how dark they are, and as far as like purpose of them, and like why you chose to use that as some of the inspiration here?
Oh gee, well, I mean, it's, as she says in the film, stories are important. They were created to teach children the difference between right and wrong. And they're the basis of, one of the oldest art forms in human history, storytelling. And, I set out to tell a story about abuse that goes on within the home. And I thought doing so through the lens of the Grimm fairy tales, Rapunzel, Hansel and Gretel, Rumpelstiltskin, Snow White, etc. I just felt that would be interesting in a Freudian sense.
Yeah.
And
that it would be
just
grim.
Yes, it would be very grim.
That's fine. I understand.
That's it.
I know what I did.
And I love how like in my head I'm like just mentally connected. The first thing you said about yourself was you've always been a storyteller, and then here you are being like gravitating to telling stories through the lens of like this historical storytelling framework of Grimm fairy tales. Like I just think that's kind of full circle. It's all part of you and who you are. You like storytelling, and you're finding different like outlets to do so. So I think that's kind of cool.
Thank you. Also, you brought up, the purpose of, it being so dark, as opposed to, I guess more Disneyfied versions that are perhaps more familiar to modern audiences. I, again, bringing it back to James Kinder, we were having this conversation a couple weeks ago, actually, about the purpose of, you guys are both parents?
Yeah,
I'm not.
Just
yes.
me.
Well, I want your take on this too. Julia, you've had enough airtime for your kids, so, the purpose of more mature storytelling elements in children's entertainment is quite important. Neil Gaiman has a great quote in the foreword of Coraline, stating, this book is not written to teach children that dragons exist. This book is written to teach children that dragons exist and they can be conquered. And that's really so more than ever evident of why it's important to teach children that really, yes, it is okay to be scared, but your fears are valid and worth conquering.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah,
and
100%.
Yeah, and just like thinking about today, I think today like we always talk about like how horror movies are today and kids watching them and it's like, oh my God, kids are watching this crazy stuff. But then it's like Grimm fairy tales, like people, they have some of the darkest imagery in those. So I mean, it's just relevant to like the times though. It's just, obviously you can't compare like kids watching Terrifier to like Rapunzel or something like that. But it's, at the time, like that was some of that stuff I'm sure was shocking for their audience as well.
Like I said, I had cinephile parents, mainly my dad. I mean, I saw The Shining when I was probably less than 11. And he rolled the dice. He could have either had a cinephile son or a serial killer, but he got the right
He
draw.
lucked out.
Yeah, he lucked out.
Yeah, that's
so we think.
That's the thing for me too. It was like my grandmother had gotten me into horror at a young age, and so like I was able to do the same thing with my kids because I felt confident. Like, okay, like I like this at this age, and I'm pretty sure they will too. And so they fell along, and so they're big horror fans. And so like Dave said, he brought up like Terrifier and stuff like that. So if some of my kids like watch like stuff from the 80s, they're like, Dad, this is cheesy or whatever, to the point now. But depending on what the film is, like my son's favorite film of all time is Jaws. You know what I mean? And so looking back at that, and he worked at the movie theaters. So now when, it's on his name tag, so when, older couples come in and they see that and they say, "That's your favorite film?" Like, why is that? And he was just like, it just stuck with me, you know what I mean? The story and everything like that. So it is, it all depends on how they're brought into it, you know what I mean? How they're introduced to it. So it just comes down, you know what I mean? So like you said, for your story, it all comes together and it shows in your work that your father did the right job showing you the shining.
Yes, you did. I'll let him know that you said so. I'll thank him for that.
Send him a link to this exact time code.
Yeah. I knew it. Nah. Yeah. It's special, I mean, it's full circle. So it's like the same thing with my grandmother showing me films, and I'm keeping it going, doing this, and actually having the chance to interview filmmakers on all levels, so it all works out,
When Brandon first told me some of the movies that his kids were watching, I was like, what are you doing? But then I thought about it later, and then I realized, like, especially with his daughter, I think more so than his son, like it helped her kind of understand, like, all this stuff's not real. I don't have to be as scared of it. Like his son is probably more scared than her, I think, about some things.
Yeah.
But like I think for her it was actually helpful to kind of like see, like, I don't have to be scared of these demons, these monsters or whatever. So it's almost like strength building. And it kind of changed my way of looking at it when she was like doing photo shoots with the Chucky doll and stuff like that years ago.
Yeah, I think she was about probably like 4. And so now, hey, those are our favorites. So
yeah,
Julia, get ready. Get the dolls out.
I will. I have to, because I had a different experience. I grew up on the sanitized versions, right? Because that's what was in the stores and that's what we watched at home. And then my mom would tell me, because she knew, she avid reader, and my dad too, avid readers. And when you have that exposure to multiple mediums and multiple retellings of the same story, she was telling me, like, this is actually kind of a messed up story in its original.
Well, your parents are European too.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And so they brought all those stories and those perspectives with them. And so I grew up having a balance of, like, this is the sanitized version. And then at home, we could talk about like what that story really looked like. We even got an anime version of The Little Mermaid where they stayed true to the original story. Yeah. And I cried for days when she died at the end. I cried rivers. I was like, no, that's stupid Prince. Why didn't they see it sooner? Oh, it was a mess. And I was like a teenager.
Yeah.
No excuse. But having seen that, and then I just started reading about, like, why do certain cultures or certain generations expose their children to the horrific versions versus why do they sanitize them over time? And I started kind of philosophizing, like, what now as a parent, I'm like, what do I want my kid to see about the world? What conversations do I want to have, and where's the line of ignorance is bliss at this point, because he doesn't have the brain formed yet to see that happening. And now my daughter is here and 4, and so now she's like, I'm just juggling of, like, what do I share, what do I not, how do I talk about it? And as long as parents are like sharing everything with their kids in terms of like having those important discussions about, like, it's okay to be scared, but it's important to be brave, or, still have a place to think this is how you deal with your emotions instead of squashing them down or pretending they don't exist. And as long as, like, we acknowledge that parts of the world and parts of the story are dark, like, we're reading a fairy tale right now where a maid pushes the princess, who is actually a good guy, out of the carriage and, like, abandons her by the side of the road to be eaten by wolves or, like, succumb to nature's exposure.
Really? What's this one called?
It's a Polish translation. I'm reading to my kids in Polish. So the translation is The Keeper of the Geese, because the princess is now destitute, and she finds her way to the same castle where she was going to meet her betrothed. It's a whole thing. It's actually a really nice story. And she becomes their keeper of the geese. And so, but she has, like, these qualities that you can't squash out of a human. that are good, and she's seen by the people that surround her. And so that's an important discussion to have. And it's a children's book.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's something horrible turning into something good, turning into discussions that are important. And it's like, is it a horror film? Is it a horror story? Is it a Grimm fairy tale? Is it like even a sanitized version of the Disney movies? Or, you know, like to have those kinds of questions posed to young forming minds, and then a healthy guidance of like, let's enjoy this for the art that it is, but also let's talk about the things that it means.
Yeah.
And then let you think about what those things are, and then develop those ideas even more over time. I mean, I think that I could get so far into the geeky weeds as to like how it all connects. Like it's all so interconnected, and like it comes out in this work because I know that a lot of people like on set, we were having these kinds of philosophical discussions there too, you know, like me and Sissy were talking about her grandkids, and like me and Izzy were talking about her like upbringing and like what kinds of things that she consumed when she was like in her formative years, like, and what she does. Like it's everywhere, and it's just really nice to kind of just be exposed to it and the different perspectives that different people have, and so you can have like a new idea pop up. I'm just such a nerd for it.
You know, I just wanted to say, like, as you were talking, I glanced down and I realized I just visited my parents' house like a couple weeks ago, and I had a whole stack of these like Hans Christian Andersen fairy tale books. These are all ones that I read when I was growing up, and I was like, well, because I've been thinking a lot about that. I recently kind of did a deep dive on like Grimm's fairy tales. I was like, I think some of this stuff is what got me into like darker stories in the first place, like subconsciously, not even realizing it. I think it just like, you know, made me gravitate to stories that were a little less, you know, light and shiny. It's like I kind of liked darker storytelling, and like Dark Crystal was like one of my favorite films growing up, and you know, like I would watch that on repeat all the time. But I think that it's helpful though to like have that other view of the world, and not just like this shiny, like everything always works out, princesses and everything like that. Sometimes, you know, there's darker forces following us around that we have to navigate.
Absolutely. It's baby's first nightmare, really. I mean,
Yeah. That's hilarious.
well, I mean, I joke half, heartedly, but I mean, it's true. I mean, they are probably the first interaction that most of us have with, dark storytelling.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Julia, you just brought up, talking with Sissy and Isabel on set. What was it like working with them on this project? Because just watching it from the visuals and everything, like it was perfect. So I need to know a little bit more behind the scenes and how that all worked out.
Professionals, and Connor too. Like he knows what he is as an actor. All three of the actors in there just really knew their strengths and what they were going to show, and they had their lines memorized. Obviously, like everybody was not, like waiting for people to kind of catch up on their lines or anything like that. So setting up the shots and then having an actor who is like ready with their performance, and we made sure to like give them space to be able to reach those emotions, and then it was so symbiotic. It was like, what do you need? Well, what do you need? Okay, great. And then we hit our marks, we hit our time, we hit the lights, we hit the lighting cues, we practiced, like we got a couple in the can for safety, and then moved on. You know what I mean? And like on lunch breaks, just hanging out with them. It was just like, okay, I'm in work mode versus I'm in hangout mode. I'm chill. I'm happy. I'm thinking about what we did. It was great. What a nice experience. What a great set. And like, just like I said, like hanging out with them was so great. And even working with them is like, I had no problems. You know what I mean? Because like, if I needed to swap a lens, people were like, cool, I'll just sit on this mark. If I needed to readjust after I swapped a lens, then they were just right there with me. They yes and everything. And it was just such a positive experience. Like I remember so many times, like once or twice, I was like, oh, can you hit the mark exactly this way? Because it's a very nuanced scene, nuanced frame. And I wanted it to look like just cut across the angle, like a really vicious XYZ. They were right there with me. And I mean, what more can I ask for?
What about you, Jason? What was it like, directing the two of them?
I had written the part for Sissy in mind. She just had Well, in casting both parts of both the leads, I wanted two actresses who imbued old school Hollywood sense of sense of style, but really a sense of expression that evoked the, well, it's no secret that the film is partially inspired by the films of the German Expressionist movement. So I really wanted to cast actresses who could really evoke a lot of feeling, not just within themselves, but for the audience with their eyes. Izzy has really expressive eyes, and I knew I wanted her immediately when I saw her reel. Sissy, she, we joked on the set, I wanted her styled sort of after, Cloris Leachman and Young Frankenstein, but she has a real sort of Betty Davis, Barbara Stanwyck quality to her that I really admired and knew that she could imbue into the character. Izzy, I mean, she just took my breath away with each take, honestly. They're both so professional to work with, and it was a joy to have these two actresses as my leads on my first short. Honestly,
That's amazing.
Yeah, because we should highlight this. This is your debut film as a director.
Yeah. Well, yes.
So, I mean, your film has, like, Amelia joked later. Amelia of Favara, who plays one of the witches. Shout out, hi Amelia. She joked to me. She said, she joked like at one of the screenings that we did, that your film has no reason to be as good as it is. Like, it has no right to be that great.
Yeah.
It's just, you blew it out of the park. It's just wonderful.
Yeah.
But I wanted to highlight for everybody who doesn't know, this is his first film, and it's a banger. It's great.
Now, and speaking of it being your first film, for people to know this, I know you've been hitting the festivals. What are some of the upcoming ways that people are going to be able to check it out?
So, right now we are kind of going through the New England Northeast festival circuit before we start moving out west towards, throughout the rest of the country. Within, let's say, another year, it's hopefully going to wind up on streaming. It'll be on YouTube, regardless, eventually. But,
we now in the heat death of the universe, but Reveal might pick it up, or another distributor. Like, we're keeping our options and eyes open for that kind of opportunity. But yeah, no, I mean, it's going to have a long, chonky festival run just because it's too good not to.
Gotta love a chonky film festival.
Love your choice of words.
Thank you so much.
Now, Julia, how did you approach like developing the visual style? Was it always the intentions of having this film black and white?
Yes, that was Jason's vision.
Okay.
So one thing that's wonderful about this is that he not only wrote the story, but he also storyboarded the majority of it. He knew exactly how he wanted it to look in terms of vibe, history, presentation, even down to the high contrast. So he edited it. We filmed it in color, but we knew that it was going to be black and white. And so we did a lot of screen tests and everything else to like make sure that certain effects played well and all that, to make sure that we knew that we were, when we translated it to the black and white color scheme, it would play well. And so that absolutely comes 100% from Jason. But as soon as like he would send me something, I'd be like, oh yeah, and it would trigger 1.5 million ideas.
She's a Renaissance woman, really, she is.
I think I'm gonna blush.
Well, no, I mean, we clicked immediately when we met, and like I said, I knew part of my desire as a filmmaker is to really evoke a sense of expressionism that I feel has been absent certainly since the 2000s, I would say, in mainstream filmmaking.
Yeah.
And, we really wanted to bring back really studio era specific lighting, sharp contrasts. And,
Varying choices.
Yes, we wanted to really go for this, not just, go halfway. Like, I see a lot of films try to evoke a similar aesthetic, but kind of, they go a little half-handed on it.
Okay.
And I
They're
really
still trying to play it safe. Sorry to cut you off, but it's like right now in the whole ethos for the last 20 or 30 years, it's been the style to make everything naturalistic. You get a lot of
everything is shot like it's television now, and I don't believe that there's only ever any one correct technique to make a film, but I think we could also champion a wealth of different techniques being utilized throughout the industry, throughout the media.
Yeah.
It's
not about one guy being right or one gal being wrong. It's like it's more about like just trying things and remembering that this is a playful medium, and the sandbox is a lot bigger than a lot of people seem to see. Like they sit in there in one corner of the sandbox and they don't see the rest of the sandbox. And there's a lot of history in it too. And so as soon as Jason started sending me clips from the octopus or referencing Nosferatu, as soon as we were talking, I was like, I'm a kid of I grew up with Mystery Theater 3000. So, okay, let's go. I get you. I see what you're doing. I'm picking up what you're putting down. And our conversations were fueled by, all right, well, this is really fascinating. And I love the vibe that it evokes. But now we have the challenge of like, how did they do that before visual effects and everything?
Have either of you guys ever seen the Octopus?
Oh,
no.
What was it?
It's SH exclamation point the octopus.
They
misspelled the word sh.
Okay. I haven't watched it, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Was it like 1939, 1934, something like that?
Or before that. It's like a B-list of a B-list version of, the Marx Brothers type of wacky comedy. It's faded into obscurity, but it's sort of gained a cult resurgence in the last decade or so due to the very old school optical effects that we employed on our film. We wanted all our effects to be in camera, which we happily succeeded in. There's at one point when a woman holding a gun transforms into she's supposed to be an octopus, but she appears to be a witch. And I collect and research obsessively old school filmmaking techniques on Instagram, and I discovered that one day, and I said, "Oh, we are going to use you." So it became our quest to figure out how they did this. And Julia, do you want to?
Oh, we did some screen tests. So I remember that we set aside time for you guys all to like drive up. You, Margie, the makeup person, and among other things, of course, because we were many, many hats. Hi, Margie. But she did an amazing job matching the color of the makeup that we wanted to do for the effect. Again, I'm not giving it away, but we were playing with those colors to match the filters that I had. And then we did multiple screen tests and then switched it over to black and white. Like we did the full dry run of film to process, edit, and then edit to get the final result so that we could see that we could do it. And we learned so much on that day because, like, I think we did it twice. Didn't we do it twice? Because the first one was kind of like not so great, but then we did it was
three times.
Yeah, it was something like that. It was ridiculous. It was multiple trips. Like we invested a lot of time to get that one effect figured out.
Well, the only person who seemed to know, the only video we seemed to we could discover that seemed to really understand how it was actually done fully was a video from India. These guys from India who have a YouTube channel, and we had to translate the video too, if I'm not mistaken.
We didn't have to translate it because at least they were showing the graphics on at the same time. So I literally had to like pause to figure out what their Adobe settings were.
I swear to God, I was pulling out Google Translate while she was doing that. Just because I wasn't.
It was pretty ridiculous because everybody was like, "Isn't this effect great?" Meanwhile, we were like, "How do you make it?" And there was this one guy that said, "Okay, this is really how you break it down, and then don't forget this. Change your settings." And it was such a flyby, and you miss it moment of like change your settings. Yeah, but how? Nobody even had that broken down. So I literally froze frame to figure out, okay, this is where it starts, this is where it ends, and what did he do on this tiny little screen on my tiny little phone? Zoom, pinch and zoom screenshots. It was redonkulous. But we did it. We figured it out. I was like, so
Jason,
that's what you gotta do.
Going back to what you said earlier about people playing it safe, it might not be just that they're playing it safe. It just maybe they just don't spend this much time. Like that's amazing. Like for you guys,
I mean,
like putting in the work is what this was
Mm-hmm.
about for, and it meant something to you because you're making it from a place like, you know, like you're a pure cinephile. Like this stuff is meaningful to you, and actually doing it correctly and doing it the justice you think it deserves. I don't know that it means as much to other people, which is fine. But for you, it wouldn't feel authentic and genuine if you didn't do it that way. So again, like this is all, it's like this just feels like a big passion project in general. Like everything about this, from like everybody's involvement and their intentions to the actual work you put into this. This is a project of passion. And you know, I really do hope that when people see it, I hope they get to hear this, so they can hear some of the background of what this means to you and like what the efforts that you put into it. I have to ask you this question though.
Please.
Let's say like in the last 5 to 7 years, can you name a film that like you feel like you like for these same reasons? Like you feel like they put the work in, you feel like they kind of went with it. Do you have a film that you can think of within the...
Sure. I without a doubt. I mean, I'm not.
No, and I just like, what would you give as an example if you were to?
That with the same, you mean with the same sort of reverence for old school?
Yeah, like put like getting the techniques correctly, or at least trying at least to make it look, you know, of something of that piece, not playing it safe, things like that.
Well, The Lighthouse for one.
In my head as you were talking, I was going to ask you. I just didn't want to put you on the spot if you didn't like it, but I was like, do you feel like The Lighthouse did it well? Because that would,
I love. He's very much admired his work.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I was worried that there would be comparisons to The Witch at first, but you know, tonally and aesthetically, we are a completely different animal.
Yeah.
I think we're evidently both inspired by some of the same subject material. I directed the girls playing the witches in our film with the Renaissance paintings of, you know, Francisco Gigoya and, you know, Henry Fuseli, and because I wanted to evoke that, you know, expressionistic nightmare fuel. I told them basically, Julia, you were saying, you know, we should really bring in a choreographer maybe, and I said no, I just want them to dance like they're doing Ring Around the Rosie on ecstasy.
Yeah,
like that's all it. That's as much sense as it needs to be.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
it's one of the favorite sequences for many people is that particular dancing sequence.
We built that forest set from scratch, by the way.
Yes,
that's cool.
Indoors.
Indoors.
Yeah, that scene itself was like really special, and you know that the effect of the black and white definitely, you know, captured that moment even more. You know what I mean? So I just have to say, it was a great job, and I think that, you know, like Julia said earlier, with this being your first project, like with someone going in and watching this, you wouldn't even know, you know, because we've had so many people on that had like a first project and we're just like, okay, you know, but like this definitely stands out to me as, wow, like you said, you put the work in. So
thank you.
I think pre-production was over a year.
Yeah. This conversation also highlights, I think, the reason why Brandon and I love doing this show so much is we get to hear the, you know, the stories around like what inspired the people to make what they make, like the work that they put into it, the efforts that were involved. And like, it really does. And I've had some people kind of disagree, but it really does kind of sometimes change the way we start to view film. And they say, oh, that shouldn't be based on that stuff. But it is part of it. The whole experience is part of the film. And the more you know about that experience, it's why people love, you know, deleted scenes, or they love all the extras on, you know, Blu-rays and stuff like that. It's because people like knowing all this stuff. And the more you know, the more you feel connected to the film.
Absolutely. I mean, I think I'm in good company here in saying that physical media is very much championed in my household, I'm sure in yours as well. And, you know, one of the things my first film school as a kid was listening to commentary tracks, director's commentary tracks. You know, and if I love a film, particularly after watching it, I'm gonna Google, you know, the Wikipedia page. I want to read what the production history was.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that was the
Exactly.
thing for us all the time. Like even as a kid, on the way home, reading the back of an album cover, like the
Yes.
manual or anything, or a video game instruction book. It's, you know, we don't have that anymore now because it's just digital, you know, for the kids growing up. So
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out a way on my YouTube channel to actually like put up the film, but also have something where a person can like click off. I'm trying to solve that puzzle, that exact same puzzle. It's like,
mm,
I love that, but I know that I get these questions. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like I know that
yeah.
people miss
There's-
this piece of it.
Yeah.
And so like, how do we in an electronic medium provide an accessible way to learn more? You know what I
We-
mean?
Yeah.
We actually just had a film that was sent to us months ago. They followed up with us to send us a link to see if we would share it, but they're now releasing on YouTube also like they made like a little mini doc of the
Yes.
filming experience because I
Great.
guess it was a pretty rough filming. So they made a little supplemental thing for people to be able to see to add on. I thought that was a great idea. You know, make it accessible to people in a format in a streaming service that people actually are using now.
Yeah.
I know
People
a lot
love
of
it.
young directors are, you know, using Instagram and TikTok as a way to highlight their behind the scenes process. And, you know, we plan on doing the same.
Yeah.
But, you know, that level of connoisseurship, I think, will continue to exist. It's just in the current streaming medium,
Mm,
there doesn't seem to be a real venue to, precipitate that.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you know, Netflix has
easy.
so many different
Right.
foreign language audio tracks that you can flip through as an option. You know, they could easily just throw up a commentary track underneath
Yeah.
the foreign language ones.
They
Yeah.
so could,
Yeah.
right?
It wouldn't cost them a
technology exists. I
dime.
think the lack of imagination is kind of right there. Because I mean, this technology is still developing. You know what? And to a certain degree, we get to decide how. So for the people that are like watching this and thinking about streaming services, maybe like there are certain places where if you buy it online digitally, you could still see some behind the scenes stuff. And I'm like,
Yeah,
yes, please, more.
Right.
I want more of that. So it's possible. And I actually, circling back to my story about eating for a living, I studied computers. I coded for 20
Okay.
years. So I know what I'm talking about when I say you can program a computer to go do that. You can do this.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Well, you know, guys, I just want to say thank you so much for having this conversation with us, but I don't want either of you to get off before telling everyone where to find you on social media, on YouTube, or anything else that you want to like promote or plug really quick. Now's your opportunity.
Sure. You can find me on Facebook, Jason Lake. On Instagram, you can find the film's official page, at Mother Grimm Official, or my personal page, Queerdo J. On YouTube, we are Rose Quartz Entertainment. That's my production company.
Okay.
Nice.
We saw the logo for the first time.
Yep.
Yep. Oh, for me. Okay.
Yeah.
So my turn. Sorry, I was excited. I thought there maybe were more because Mother Grimm Official also on Instagram, so you can follow the film itself if you wanted to learn more about that. And for me, like I'm around, but my base of operations is friendlyfilmmaker.com. From there, you can bounce off to my YouTube channel, subscribe to me on YouTube. I have like 1,300 subscribers, which is so amazing. Like I can't even believe that many people want to clap eyeballs on stuff that I made. That's so bizarre and wonderful to me. So, but yay. So from there, I also just started a community, and I have been writing a newsletter every week for 2 years now. We just had our 2-year anniversary. I should probably write that in my next newsletter, actually. And that one's free. So you can sign up to the newsletter and then stay connected with me that way, because like all these platforms, I sometimes post in ghost on the Insta. Sometimes I'm here and there on the Facebook, but that's kind of like a mess. So just find me at friendlyfilmmaker.com. That's the place.
Okay.
All right.
All right. And I'm just going to ask you guys one more time. So if people are interested in checking out this film, where should they be looking? Well, should they just follow they should just follow Mother Grimm Instagram, and I'm sure all the
so definitely number one, follow the Instagram page at Mother Grimm Official. And number two, I do encourage you to sign up for the newsletter only because I do post news about the film in there.
Okay.
When there's a film festival it's playing at, you will hear about it in the newsletter. And again, the newsletter's free and it's just me running it. So I'm not going to Google or whatever shady bull crap you're used to. No. You won't subscribe, you never hear from me again.
You won't be carpet bombed with emails.
Right, exactly. Oh my God, so many. Every Friday. Can you imagine?
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this conversation as much as we did. Just talking about indie filmmaking and just the passion around filmmaking. I love this conversation. So thank you, Jason and Julia, for being here. And everybody who tuned in, thank you for listening. And we will see you next week. Have a good week.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks, everyone.
Here.
Game over.